Hey everyone, it's Matt, and today we're actually going to finally talk about Master Duel again with regards to Dark Magician. So, I know I've been talking about this in my previous videos, and a few people mentioned in some of my comments asking about the Dark Magician deck profile on Master Duel. So, finally, here is the video where I'm going to show that. So just to be clear, I lowered the music here pretty low, right? Like it's almost mute. It's like one tick above mute. So hopefully, uh, my voice will be, people will be able to hear my voice more, and the music won't be so overwhelmed. Because I know last time I made a video about Master Duel, people were complaining about my voice volume relative to the game music. So, all right, hopefully the game music is turned down enough, and we don't have this issue. All right, so let's get started. So Dark Magician deck. All right, here's what I have. Now, this might look similar to the deck list that Lalza posted on his channel, and I think that deck, like the most recent one, and I think that deck list is based off of, or it's like a variant of another deck list that some other Dark Magician player who got to Plat won with. So, but there's a lot of similar themes, right, between all three deck lists, right? Unfortunately, we do not have Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. Big sad. This deck is a lot weaker without Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. But nonetheless, you can make it work to reach Plat. It's just going to be more of a grind. Okay, so let's get started. And we'll be going over... I'm not going to go as in-depth as like some of my other Dark Magician deck profile videos because, Master Duel is not... I mean, yeah, everyone's playing it now, but like it's not as big as TCG. Still, like the actual TCG. And I don't know. I have no idea, like, if the TCG will ever, or sorry, if Master Duel will ever change to either unban Dragoon or like add in Illusion of Chaos. Who really knows, right? All right. So without further ado, let's get into this. So, um, the main man himself, Dark Magician, we're running two of. Unfortunately, this is the only artwork that the game provides. My least favorite of the Dark Magician artworks, but it is what it is. Um, Yeah, you should always run two. Never run three. And if you're running one, you're playing a dangerous game. Yeah, two is the number. If you run three Dark Magician, um, yeah, you're just intentionally trying to lose a game. Like, there's no other explanation for it. Like, there's never, ever, 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 ever a good reason to run three Dark Magician. Like, it's the same argument as Eldritch. Why? Like, I've been playing Master Duel and see people run three Eldritch, and I've also seen like other Dark Magician decks run three Dark Magician. Why do you do this? Like, it's not good. It's not good. Please stop doing it. Just I don't want to hear anything in the comments about running three Dark Magician. You should never run three Dark. Two is the right number. All right. Now that I got that out of my system, three Magician Souls. I think this is pretty core, right? Magician Soul is one of the best Dark Magician cards in the game. You should always run three. It can be a special summon, it can be a normal summon. Like, it can draw you cards. It can put your bricks in the graveyard. I don't see why you would ever not run three Magician Souls. So far we're at 5 ultra rares, by the way. Check out the rarities of this deck. Yeah, it's not cheap. 2 Maxx. All right, so I know in my Lich video I said that 3 Maxx is like the minimum, like the requirement. Honestly, I think 2 Maxx is fine. And in fact, even in my Eldritch deck, I dropped to 2 Maxx. The reason being is because I saw more than one copy of Maxx in my opening hand a little bit too, more often than I was comfortable with. And I would argue, like, that there's probably a correlation between opening 2 Maxx's in my hand and losing the game. Or like, not being as successful. Obviously, if they play into Maxi and they actually let you draw a bunch of cards, like you'll win even if you open 2 copies. But good players will not play into Maxi; they'll just end their turn prematurely, and maybe you'll get like 1 or 2 draws max, right? So yeah, I like it at 2 right now. And the reason, I mean, if I was able to go to 3 and cut something else from the deck, I would. But I feel like the deck is just, I don't know, a little too tight. It's really hard to cut something else. Some of you will notice that I have a Mahad here, and maybe you can say, oh, you should cut Mahad. maybe, and you're more than welcome to cut Mahad for to get the third copy of Maxx. But for now, I'm good with two. I see it often enough, and I never ever see two copies in my opening hand anymore. Like, you don't want to see more than two, like more than one in your opening hand. All right, so Rod. So here's the first and probably one of the cheapest cards in the deck, which is super core. Magician's Rod, always run at 3. We don't have Illusion of Chaos. We can't make any fancy diviner or plays or like, drop Rod to 2. You should always be at 3. This is your normal summon. We don't have Red Ice Fusion, so this is like your only normal summon in the whole game, right? He's great. He searches your Dark Magician spells traps. He recycles from the graveyard. He chain blocks for you. Yeah, you want to run Rod at 3. Alright, Dark Magician Girl. This is one of the bricks that you play, but if you get, she does have her uses. She gets you a nice, increases your Soul Servant to draw you two cards instead of 1 card, right? Assuming, you also have Dark Magician, you can get a draw 2 off of her. She can be sent for Magician's Souls. She can be revived via Magician's Salvation for that extra body on the field. She can be fused with Secrets of Dark Magic with any spellcaster to make the Dark Magicians, right? Yeah, she's alright, like, not the best. Kind of bricky. You don't want to open her in your hand. You want her in your deck, and you want to send her to the graveyard via Magician's Souls whenever you can. But yeah, she's not bad. Definitely, and, super rare, right? Single copy of Apprentice Illusion Magician. So why a single copy and not 2 copies? So the reason I'm not a fan of 2 copies, even though, I mean, you can run 2, honestly, it's fine. The only issue is that because Apprentice Illusion Magician has the effect that when she summons to the field, she searches a vanilla Dark Magician from your deck to your hand, right? Then that means that you're moving bricks from your deck to your hand. And sometimes you want that, like, a lot of times, if you have Magician Souls, you want to send Dark Magician or maybe Dark Magician Girl from your deck to the graveyard. So if your vanilla Dark Magicians are both in your hand, you can't do that, right? You have to send DMG or Mahad. So I feel like, in general, a good rule is, like, if you have N Dark Magicians, you should have N-1 Apprentice Illusion Magicians. Like, if I ran 3 Dark Magicians, which I wouldn't do, that would be silly, but if I did, I would probably run 2 Apprentice Illusion. Simply because, like, you can search one in your hand and then the other stays in your deck for when you need it for Magician Souls or, like, to send it off Souls. I mean, it's not like we have Red Ice Fusion, right? So it's not like it's absolutely necessary. We could perfectly fine run 2 here because, normally, like, if we had Red Ice Fusion, we want Dark Magician deck to send off Red Ice Fusion, but that's not the case here. So honestly, you can have 2, but I would rather have 1 in my deck. Why would I rather have 1 in my deck and, like, 1 in the grave and or hand is because of the next card I'm playing, Mahad. Alright, so Mahad is a level 7, right? So Palladium is a level 7 light spellcaster monster. So he can basically, if you draw him, so he's outside of your opening hand. So if he's not in your opening hand, great. If you draw him at any point during the duel, you can special summon him to the field for free. And if he battles a dark monster, his attack is doubled. So yeah, so like if the enemy has a really strong monster, if they have like Ominous Omen, like Shadal Winda, like any dark monster where you might have trouble like beating over it with a 2500 attack monster, this will become a 5k beater, right, and do tons of damage. Secondly, if Mahad is destroyed, you can special summon a Dark Magician from deck, hand, or graveyard. So yeah, this is why another reason I have 1 Apprentice Illusion. Although if I were to take on Mahad, like, I should probably put back a second Apprentice Illusion, right, to make up for losing the Mahad. Mahad will also increase the number of draws you get off Soul Servant, which so you can get to a +3 draw, which it's great if you ever are able to pull that off. It's amazing. Like, drawing 3 cards off each Soul Servant is like the greatest feeling in the world, right? You'll feel like $1,000,000, like feels like you can't lose, right? But you know, if you can't get a draw 3, he'll at least like help you get towards the draw 2, right? If he's destroyed, you immediately get a Dark Magician, so you're at draw 2, like without DM Girl, right? Yeah, he's an ultra rare, so you know if you don't want to spend the gems for it, do Apprentice Illusion instead. Be perfectly fine. Also, since he's a level 7, you can go to some rank 7 Xyz plays, which I'll get into later when I talk about the extra deck. So yeah, pretty good card. I like it. 3 Upstart Goblin. Upstart Goblin's at 3 in this ban list, not at 1. So if 1 is good, why not 3, right? In a vacuum, this card will just help you go through your deck more, draw you the other cards in your deck, and that's in a vacuum, right? But recall that Rod is also amazing. Sorry, Upstart Goblin is amazing when combined with either Dark Magical Circle or Soul Servant, because Dark Magical Circle and Soul Servant allow you to stack cards to the top of your deck, and Upstart lets you immediately draw it, right? Like, let's say you use Dark Magical Circle, you see Mahad. You can stack Mahad on top, Upstart, draw Mahad, and you immediately summon him, right? And you have a 2500 beater on the field. So, yeah, Upstart Goblin is great. I don't see why you would ever not run this. Man, I wish it was legal at 3 in the TCG, but alas. Alright, so I'm running Bond Between Teacher and Student with Dark Burning Magic. So Bond Between Teacher and Student is a card that allows you to basically, if you have Dark Magician on the field, you can special summon Dark Magician Girl from your hand, deck, or graveyard. And after you do that, you can set Dark Burning Magic straight from your, straight from your deck, right? So why is this important? Well, let's say you open Rod Souls, right? Like in your opening hand, you have Magician's Rod, you have Souls, right? Normally, if this was the TCG, we can go on Anaconda and then Dragoon, but you can't do that anymore with these two. So now there's like basically 2 plays you can make depending on whether you're going first or second, right? And also depending on like, I don't know, how you feel about the game. So one thing you can do is use Rod, summon Rod, search Circle, and then use Souls to immediately summon Vanilla Dark Magician, and then get a banish off Circle, assuming there's anything to banish, right? That's one thing you can do. Another thing you can do is use Rod, search Bond Between Teacher and Student, use Magician's Souls to summon Vanilla Dark Magician from the deck, and then use Bond Between Teacher and Student to summon Dark Magician Girl, and then you can set Dark Burning Magic immediately. Since you set it, you cannot activate it on the same turn as a quick play. So obviously it would be slightly better if you went first, but like as soon as your opponent's turn comes, you literally destroy all cards your opponents control. Like this card is like a super nuke, giga nuke, right? If you control Dark Magician Girl, destroy all monsters your opponent all cards, not all monsters, all cards your opponent control. So this is like a one-sided Zeus. It's a quick play, right? It requires you to have DM and DM Girl on the field, obviously. And guess what? This card is searchable off Soul Servant, so you can do this every turn, assuming you have Rod available, right? Or you just happen to have Soul Servant. Like you can literally do this every turn. Yeah, so you just blow up their board, and then you attack them directly, and then you just do it again next turn, every turn until they're dead, right? So yeah, great card, great card. Yeah, and honestly, like, I mean, I'm only running like the Bond and Dark Burning Magic combo because I feel like, I don't know, there's not enough high impact cards in this deck, since we don't have Dragoon, right? So I don't feel like it's taking up the slot of like anything really important. So Naturalized Fusion. Naturalized Fusion is great because it can help you make either Quintet Magician or the Dark Magicians. Most of the time you want to use it to make the Quintet Magician, because it's easier to fuse 5 spellcasters that are already in the graveyard into Quintet. And we do run Verde Anaconda, so we can activate the Magicalized Fusions like we copy the effect when it's in the deck. Yeah, if it's in the hand, it's a little bricky unless you have like 5 spellcasters in the graveyard. But yeah, this is pretty good. Magician's Salvation. It searches Eternal Soul and sets it. Don't know what else to say about that. Since you run Dark Magician Girl, every time you special summon Dark Magician, you also get the girl like from the graveyard. And vice versa. You summon the girl, you get Dark Magician. So this card's nice. And if you need, like, if you don't care that much about that effect, you can just pitch it off Souls and just draw a card, right? 2 Dark Magical Circle. Since we don't have, in my TCG profile, I'm running 1, right? But since we don't really have much else to do in the deck, like we don't have a Dragoon or like more important cards, yeah, just run 2 Circle. We want to see this, like, our ideal board is still, you know, Dark Magical Circle on the field, Eternal Soul on the field, and then like Dark Magician in hand and or graveyard, and then like we just want to like loop and banish something of your, you know, banish an opponent's card every turn, right? Your opponent draws 1 card per turn, and you banish 1 card per turn on either turn. So for every card he draws, you banish 2, like hopefully, right? If not more. So yeah, Dark Magic Circle is fine. And since we have a few more targets to search, like Dark Magic Circle can add Bond between Teacher and Student. It can also add Dark Burning Magic, and we have more Eternal Souls. You're probably more, you know, we're more likely to see a card that we can actually add to our hand. So yeah, 2 Circle is the way to go. Do not go. I mean, you can. I mean, if you don't care that much, you can go to 1. I just don't see what you would necessarily replace it with, right? And never, ever, 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 ever play Circle at 3. It's the same argument with Dark Magician. Just don't. It's too bricky. You don't want to see that many copies of it. Yeah, just keep it at 2. Like 2 is the max. Alright, I talked about Dark Burning. 2 Called by the Grave. This card's great because it can stop hand traps. If they max C, you can hand trap. You can call by them. I mean, granted, you're not summoning that much, so like you're normaling a Rod and maybe specialing a Dark Magician. Like they'll get 1 draw off their max C most of the time, unless you're doing like crazy like extra deck plays. But yes, but you know, call by is always an out for that. Call by is also an out for Ash Veiler. And it's also an out for Eldritch. Like if you're in an Eldritch matchup, Call by the Grave will win you the game, right? Especially if you know they're not if the Eldritch player knows what they're doing, they have 2 Eldritch. You can call by you have 1 Call by the Grave per Eldritch. And you might think, oh, doesn't that since call by is at 2, doesn't mean Eldritch players should run 3 to Eldritch? No, that still doesn't mean they should run 3. 2 is still the number, but you know, just be cognizant that like instead of holding it for hand traps, maybe there's like an important monster you really need to get rid of. Like if you're against a Drytron player, Called by the Grave on their Ben 10 can be like game saving because they don't get to search on that turn, and they basically like, and if they don't have access to another Ben 10. So by the way, Drytron is overpowered in this format because they have 3 Ben 10s, they have 3 freaking Avas, and they have Union Carrier. So this is like max power Drytron that we're playing with here. But yeah, so like, you know, if you call by the Grave, Drytron and the TCG player, and like you take out their Ben 10, they're super like screwed, right? Here, you know, they still have 2 more Ben 10s. It's not the end of the world. They can still play, but it does like sort of end their turn if you're going first and you set Call by the Grave. So yeah, Call by the Grave at 2 is great. Oh, I love this card, man. I wish it was at 2 in TCG. I wish it was at 3 in the TCG. All right, great card. Soul Servant, always run 3. You know, any of the other Dark Magician cards can be stacked from the graveyard or the deck, and then this gets you a draw 1, 2, or 3 in this deck profile, right? So we can get a draw 3, but most of the time you'll just be getting a draw 2, which is fine. But if you can get that fabled draw 3, it's like chef's kiss, right? It's great. Seeker's Dark Magic. It's oh, before I get into that, notice a quick update on the rarities. So yeah, all these spells here are ultras, and like these dark magician spells are secrets. So it's super. So it's kind of like expensive, but yeah, you'll hear some reprieve when you see that Secrets of Dark Magic is a normal, the lowest rarity. Lulz and a bunch of other people don't like it, but like I like it, and especially in this format, like what else are you gonna do, right? Like you need to be able to make some fusion plays. So Secrets is searchable off Rod, it's stackable off Soul Servant, and it can make any of the 3 fusion monsters. Quintet, which is harder to make. You likely won't make Quintet with Secrets. The Dark Magicians, DM or DM Girl with any spellcaster, and of course Dark Magician the Dragon, now Dragon Knight. You cannot make Dark Magician Dragon Knight with Magicalized Fusion. I know, like other YouTubers like Team Samurai X1 and whatever have been spreading this fake news that Magicalized can make you the Dragon Knight. It cannot. Magicalized can only make spellcasters. So the only targets for this is Dark Magicians or Quintet, and honestly, you'll be using it on Quintet. If you want Dark Magicians or the Dragon Knight, Secrets of Dark Magic is how you do it. But wait, what dragon are you fusing? Imduck is a dragon, but we'll get into that later. All right. So now let's get into our trap lineup, and you'll notice a lot of ultra rares in this lineup. 2 Torrential Tribute. Torrential Tribute's amazing. It just blows out a board, and if you're going second, but whether you're going first or second, this is a good card. This is just clear a board, right? Yeah, and it's a rare. It's super cheap. So yeah, really good card. I mean, the current meta, or at least some of the stronger decks I've seen, or that have been having the most success, have been like Tri-Brigade, which summons a lot, Bird Tri-Brigade, what is it, Drytron, right? Like, if you can just blow up their monsters before they can get too far into their strat combo, like, you can win, right? 3 Solemn Judgment. Why am I running 3 Solemn Judgment? Because you have a deck that relies heavily on backrow, right? Especially given that, Dark Magical Circle and Eternal Soul are continuous spells and traps as a skill drain. And so there are a lot of people that are blind, like main decking, because, since ranked as a best of 1, right? They're blind / main decking, like backrow clear, Harpy's Feather Duster, Lightning Storm, etc. So 3 Solemn Judgment is how you stop your backrow from getting cleared. If your backrow gets cleared, you might be in very big trouble. So, although honestly, if you want, and this is something I've thought about, you can run Starlight Road instead of Solemn Judgments, right? Starlight Road is hilarious because it can stop 2 Lightning Storms in succession. If they Lightning Storm you, you can flip this, negate Lightning Storm, and then summon Stardust Dragon from your extra deck. And your Stardust Dragon has an effect that if let's say they Lightning Storm again, it can negate. So basically the same effect Starlight Road has, basically Stardust Dragon has, but slightly better because it's Starlight Road requires your opponent to destroy 2 cards. Stardust Dragon requires your opponent to destroy 1 card. So yeah, if you don't want to spend the money on ultra rares, which I can understand, just run Starlight Road. It's super rare, and you're not required to summon Stardust Dragon. I mean, like, Stardust Dragon is obviously like where is it? An ultra rare. You don't need more than 1 copy. You don't need any copy. Like, 1 copy is usually enough. Like, if they open double Lightning Storm, and they try to do that against you with Starlight Road, like, Starlight Road will stop both Lightning Storms. It's amazing. Like, assuming you have, of course, 1 Stardust Dragon. 1 is all you really need. Like, the reason I like Judgment is because it's a little bit more generically good. Like, Judgment can stop obviously stops 1 mass back row clear. Not like 2, but it's also just generically good. Like, it can stop your opponent from some big summons. Like, oh, they summon they flip Shadal Schism, Judgment. Oh, they summon Accesscode, Judgment. Oh, they flip Tri-Brigade Revolt, Judgment, right? Like, it's just way more versatile. And if you play the Eldritch matchup, which you're going to run into Eldritch players, I know I have, you want to have access to Solemn Judgment. This is a game-saving card in that matchup. Starlight Road won't do much against Eldritch because Eldritch doesn't pop two abilities. Dogmatic Punishment pops 1, and then on a separate chain pops a 2nd if they Shenentis. I have yet to see, like, in my Eldritch deck, I don't run any like heavy Storm Dusters or any back row clear, other than like just punishment basically. And yeah, like I doubt any Eldritch players that you run into will run like mass back row clear. And if you do, like, they're actually trolling, right? So yeah. What else? Yeah, so I think Solemn Judgments are better, but if you don't want to fork over the ultra rare, then yeah, consider Starlight Road. It's a good card, and if you open the packs from the set, maybe you'll pull at least 1 Stardust Dragon. 1 is all you really need, honestly. Solemn Strike. Why do I have Solemn Strike? Solemn Strike is essentially, Solemn Strike is just generically good, right? It can stop. Oh, you're in the Tri-Brigade matchup. Obviously it stops summons. They summon Accesscode, Solemn Strike. They summon, Ominous Omen through a regular Link summon, Solemn Strike. Like, there's many things Solemn Strike can stop, but Alistair, you can Solemn Strike right, but or even like Mechabuzz negate. The main reason for Solemn Strike in my opinion, and why you absolutely should have it, is because of the Drytron matchup, right? Nothing else in your deck can out like their Herald. If they have a Herald with like 50 negates in their hand, what the hell are you gonna do, right? If you're going second against that, how do you stop that? You really can't, right? Solemn Strike is how you stop it. Like, on their turn, set some stuff, do your play. Like, on their turn, like, bait a card, like, maybe flip Skill Drain. If they try to negate with, uh, or, like, if they summon, like, Torrential, they try to negate with Herald, Solemn Strike. And then you never have to deal with Herald again, hopefully, right? Yes, they can still revive Herald. Um, but, at least, like, you know, you have an out for the Herald negate when you need it, and you can, once you actually get to play, like, this is assuming you're going second against Drytron, like, you actually get to, you know, respond, be able to play and do something, right? Like, it's, yeah, so I think it's absolutely critical that you have Solemn Strike in this deck. I don't see how you can play going second against Drytron without Solemn Strike, like, unless you main deck Droll and Lockbird, but then, like, Drone Lockbird is not so good against other matchups like Tri-Brigade, right? There's a lot of Tri-Brigade. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like, you either main deck Droll to deal with the Drytron matchup, or you main deck this. And I think this is just, like, more generically good against all matchups. Speaking of monster effects, and I mentioned Skill Drain. Skill Drain is at 3 in this format. Yay! I guess it is now in the TCG as well, like with the new ban list. It's super rare, so don't feel too bad about crafting this. Yeah, you can very well just run 3 of them. I mean, most of your cards do not require on-field effects. Your one card that does is Rod, but I mean, ideally you've already summoned Rod and gotten your search, and then you set Skill Drain, right? So you don't really need like Rod to resolve all that often. But if you really do, guess what? Magician Souls can get rid of Skill Drain, right? If you summon Magician Souls to the field, Skill Drain negates the effects. It does not prevent effects from activating, so you can activate Magician Souls, send Skill Drain to the graveyard for cost, and then draw cards, and then you deactivate a Skill Drain on your turn, right? Like, you'd flip this on your opponent's turn to stop their plays, but yeah. And I mean, if you have the Dark Magician set up with Dark Magical Circle and Eternal Soul, you'll just beat them with a 2500 vanilla and, like, with your banish and like continuous revive, right? So yeah, you can. It's perfectly fine for you to just, like, sit on a Skill Drain and just rely on vanilla Dark Magician to win. Like, super doable. Also, if you're against, like, a lot, this is just like a good plug against so many deck matchups. You're against Drytron going first, you just do Skill Drain. It's like, oh, even if they bring out their Herald, it won't matter, right? Same with, like, Invoked. It's like, oh, you brought out Mechaba and it can't negate. So yeah, Skill Drain's amazing. Always run 3. Eternal Soul, another another part of the Dark Magician core that's actually cheap. I find it hilarious, and it's very mind-boggling why Dark Magical Circle and Magician Salvation are both super rares, but Eternal Soul is a rare. Like, I'll never understand that. Like, I feel like if you have Rod, like, if you don't have one of these two pieces, like Circle or Eternal Soul, you want Rod or Soul Servant to stack or search Eternal Soul before Circle, right? Obviously, like, you want to do Salvation first, because Salvation, like, sets Eternal Soul, and it, like, thins your deck and, helps you make more plays. But, like, I think Dark Magical Circle should be a normal or a rare. Like, this is, like, one of the weakest part of the Dark Magician core. Like, it's only good if you have everything else set up, right? Eternal Soul can be good on its own, like, better than Circle in my opinion. So really mind-boggling why these two are super rares, but these are rares. Like, I'll never get it. Okay, so that's the main deck. Obviously no side deck, so let's get into the extra deck. So we don't have Dragoon, but we do have 3 fusions. Dark Magician Dragonite. If you're able to successfully summon this monster on the field while you have Dark Magical Circle and Eternal Soul, you basically win the game. Like, their only out is evenly matched. And I'm pretty sure I have yet to see anyone main decking evenly matched. Like, people main deck Lightning Storm, Twin Twisters, Harpies, Cyclones. Yeah, Dark Magician, the Dragonite, protects your back row, so none of those cards I just mentioned can touch them, right? Only evenly matched, basically. So yeah, great card. Hard to bring out, unfortunately. We don't have the Tamias Dragon. And no, I'm not gonna run. I have Tamias. It's not worth it. But if you can get, you know, I'm Duck on the field, yeah, you can absolutely, um, you know, fuse into the Dragon Knight. So I guess the annoying part about that is to get I'm Duck on the field, you have to send a Dark Magician on your field to the graveyard, right? So you either revive it back through Eternal Soul, or you bring out another one with Magician Souls, and then you can play Secrets of Dark Magic to fuse them, right? So it's super inconvenient. Um, yeah, like this is like a turn 2 play you make, right? Like, you have Eternal Soul set, your opponent does your thing, they go to end phase, you revive Dark Magician, and then recycle Rod, right? On your turn, summon Rod, grab Secrets, link Dark Magician to Imduck, revive Dark Magician with Eternal Soul, and then make the Dragon Knight with Secrets, right? Um, yeah, so it's a turn 2 play at best. Like, I don't see anyone making this card on turn 1. I'd be super impressed, like, if you could pull that off. I mean, is it possible? Let's see. Oh boy. Yes, if you open a Dark Magician. So, like, for you to make this on turn 1, you would need a Dark Magician in hand. You need a Magician Souls to summon a Dark Magician from the deck. And then you need a Rod, or to have Secrets of Dark Magic in your hand, right? Because Rod can search Secrets. And then, like, you use Magician Souls to summon Vanilla Dark Magician. You still have one in your hand. You link the one on the field to Imduck, and then you play Secrets and link and fuse the one in your hand with the Imduck to make the Dragon Knight. Like, that's the only real way I can think of you possibly making the Dragon Knight on turn 1. It's really, really difficult without Eye of Timaeus, which we're not playing Eye of Timaeus. Let's be real here. Yeah, Eternal Soul at 2. Similar logic for Dark Magical Circle at 2. In my TCG profile, I have this at 1. Because, I mean, it's essentially like, Salvation is just another copy of this, so really you have 3, right? But yeah, you're not doing much else with the deck, so you might as well just run 2. Just so you see it more often, right? And you have to search it less with Rod or Soul Servant. Oh, I already talked about main deck. I should go back. Yeah, I was on extra. The Dark Magician's pretty good. You can OTK if you have Secrets. Attack them, and then, like, maybe do Secrets in battle phase to finish attack for game. Yeah, this card can draw you cards, right? Like, if you open this monster, like, every time a spell or trap, you can draw a card. So synergize really well with Soul Servant, synergize really well with Eternal Soul. And, yeah, once destroyed, you get a DM and DM Girl on the field, which means you're only one search away from getting Dark Burning Magic, right? Yeah, it's not the greatest, but, like, you don't have Dragoon, like, might as well make this, at least so you have some monster that can do something, right? Yeah, so it's a lot easier to make this turn 1 than the Dragon Knight. Obviously, in, like, turn 2, you want to make the Dragon Knight over this monster. Surprise isn't ultra rare, honestly. Just because it's, like, super rare in real life, this should seriously be a secret rare, though. Alright, Quintet. Yeah, technically you can make it with Secrets, but you're mainly making it with Magicalized Fusion / Anaconda. Yeah, if you bring this bad boy out, it's usually a game-winning play. It's hard to see people coming back from this. Cannot be tributed by kaijus, cannot be used as fusion material, so they can't super poly you, and cannot be destroyed by card effects. So, can be destroyed by battle, like Accesscode can attack over it usually. It can be targeted, so it's not invincible, but yeah, this is a big boy, and if you summon it, you're probably winning that turn. Oh man, or the following turn, because if they don't have an out for it, like, it's 4,500 beater, right? Like what? Yeah, it's hard for them to have an out. Obviously, the only unfortunate part is, like, this card says, if this card's fusion using 5 spellcaster monsters with different names, destroy all monsters your opponent controls. So if you don't use 5 unique spellcasters, you don't get the effect, which is unfortunate because, I mean, look at your lineup of spellcasters, right? You have Dark Magician, Souls, Rod, DM Girl, Apprentice, and or Mahad. So, like, some of these you don't want to banish because, yeah, you'll lose draws off Soul Servant, but there are other spellcasters in your extra deck that you can try to take advantage of the fact that they might be in your graveyard. Like ARTEMIS is a spellcaster. Norito, the Moral Leader, is a spellcaster. Selene is a spellcaster, right? Big Eye is a spellcaster. Ebon Illusion is a spellcaster. Relinquished Anima is a spellcaster. So ideally, you don't want to banish your monsters that give you draws from Soul Servant. If you can avoid it, like if you don't have a choice, like go for it. But yeah, try to see if you can get rid of banish these extra deck spellcasters instead, because it's usually better. All right. Speaking of, let's get into the Xyz. So Norito, the Moral Leader. What's this about? I've never talked about this card before. Why is he here? And why is he a rank 6? All right. So 2 reasons. If you're able to summon Norito, the Moral Leader, then you're able to summon Quintet Magician and get the 5 unique spellcasters effect off. Now, why is that? All right. So let's say your opening hand is, let's say you're going second, right? Your opening hand is Magician Souls and Apprentice Illusion Magician, right? So Magician Souls can summon DM Girl, who's a level 6, and Apprentice Illusion is a free special, or free quote-unquote special summon, who's also a level 6. If you can get these 2 on the field, you can make Xyz them into Norito, the Moral Leader. What's his effect? His effect doesn't really matter, but let's just read it. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a spell or trap, detach a material and negate it, right? This isn't great. Like, we're not getting him for the effect, right? We're getting him for 2 reasons. One, let's read what Ebon Illusion. Let's jump ahead and read what Ebon Illusion Magician says. So this is rank 7, so it uses 2 level summon. But it says you can also Xyz summon this card by using a rank 6 spellcaster type Xyz monster control as materials. So you can actually rank up. So if you have Magician Souls and Apprentice, you can bring out DM Girl and Apprentice, make Norito, and then immediately make Ebon Illusion Magician, right? And guess what? It means that you'll have Ebon Illusion Magician, which if you want, you can use its effect to discard DM Girl or detach DM Girl to summon Dark Magician from your deck. And now you have a live Soul Servant that can do a +2. And let's read Ebon Illusion Magician's other effect, which says once per turn you can. Oh no, so you can attach material to special summon a normal spellcaster, so DM, right? But the other effect is when a spellcaster normal monster declares an attack, you can target a card your opponent controls and banish it. So if you use this effect, detach a material, so in this case you detach DM Girl, you summon Dark Magician from your deck or hand. If you attack with that Dark Magician, you can trigger his ability to banish 1 card on the field. Targeted banish. So, is it a card or is it a monster? Target 1 card, yeah. So it does not have to be a monster. So, yeah, pretty good effect. And obviously, like, you know, either Norito or Ebon Illusion can attack and then go into Zeus, right? So Zeus is always like, oh. And guess what? If you make Norito, it'll have 2 materials. You make Ebon, it'll have 3 materials. When you make Zeus, it'll have 4 materials. So Norito into Ebon into Zeus, assuming you don't detach anything along the way, will get you a 4 material Zeus, which is great, right? And another thing about you know, I mentioned before Quintet Magician. What does Quintet Magician have to do Norito, the Moral Leader? Alright, so let's say you use DM Girl and Apprentice Illusion to summon Norito, right? So just from that play, you have 4 unique spellcasters for a Magicalized Fusion. You have Souls, the one that you use to summon DM Girl. You have Apprentice Illusion. You have DM Girl, and you have Norito. That's 4 unique spellcasters. Let's say you make Ebon Illusion, which is 5 unique spellcasters. Detach a card for Ebon Illusion to summon Dark Magician. 6 unique spellcasters. So you've made 6 unique spellcasters with 2 cards, right? So if you Magicalize Fusion, any 5 of those 6, you can trigger, you can bring out this bad boy and use his effect to blow up your opponent's field. Alright, so let's continue with the combo, right? So Souls summons the M-Girl. Apprentice summons herself. These 2 Xyz into Norito. Norito ranks up into Ebon. Ebon detaches DM Girl. Summons Dark Magician from the deck. Dark Magician links to Link Spider. Link Spider and Ebon Illusion link into Verde Anaconda. Verde Anaconda pays 2,000, sends Magicalized Fusion, and then uses Magicalized Fusion to banish. Alright, so what monsters should we banish, right? We should banish the Xyz if we can. So banish Ebon, banish Norito, right? Because we don't need them again. Banish Magician Souls, so that's 3 unique spellcasters. Banish Apprentice because you know we don't really need her. That's 4 unique spell costs. And then you can banish a Dark Magician, because you'll still have another one in your deck. And then you bring out Quintet Magician. Quintet Magician blows up your opponent's field, and then, maybe can swing for 4,500, right? So, this is why we have Norito, the Moral Leader, right? It can help you get into Ebon Illusion, and it can help you get to, also gets you to Zeus, and it also help you get to Quintet. So, let's keep that in mind. We skip Big Eye. Big Eye's rank 7. It's a spellcaster. Very simple. Detach a material. Take control of one of your opponent's monsters. So you have 2 materials here. You can take 2 of your opponent's monsters over 2 turns. So if they have a problematic monster that is not immune to being targeted, you can just take it. So pretty useful. And then Ebon Illusion I already went over. So quick word about the rank 7s, right? So the problem with making rank 7s in this deck, right, where you only run 2 Dark Magicians. So let's say you try to make Ebon Illusion Magician using 2 Dark Magicians, right? If you do that, you can't actually use this effect to detach a material, and right, because you don't have another Dark Magician in your hand or deck that you can use to even use this effect or take advantage of the fact that you want to get a banish, right? So it's very suboptimal to make Ebon Illusion using 2 Dark Magicians. You can, but it's suboptimal. Best case scenario, in my opinion, is you do that, you attack, and then go into Zeus, right? Because you want to get those Dark Magicians out from materials as soon as possible. You don't want both of them to stay attached, because you want to be able to access at least one. That's another reason why I'm running Mahad. If you can get Mahad and Dark Magician on the field, these 2 can make Ebon Illusion, and then you can detach one of them. Like, let's say you detach the Mahad, and then you can summon the other Dark Magician from your deck or hand, right? So that's another reason I want to run Mahad here. I feel like you're more likely to be able to access your rank 7s if you have a 3rd level 7. And I don't want to run a 3rd Dark Magician, because I've already explained it's not good. Just don't do it, right? So yeah, I feel like Mahad is a pretty good one. So that's another argument in favor of Mahad. Obviously, Ebon Illusion can be made through Norito, so there's a few ways to access Ebon Illusion. Zeus needs no introduction. You attack with Norito or Ebon Illusion, and you can make Zeus. And you can make a 4 material Zeus if you go the Norito path into Ebon Illusion, and you don't detach anything. A 2 material Zeus is fine, or a 3 material, but 4 is way better than 2 or 3. Link Spider. We've talked about this in my other deck profiles for my TCG Dark Magician profile. Link Spider sends Dark Magician to the graveyard. That's his main usage. Also, he transforms a normal monster into an effect monster, and that's important because Predator Plant requires 2 effect monsters. Lackluster Soldier requires 3 monsters with different names. Accesscode requires 2 or more effect monsters, right? A lot of things require effect monsters. So not only do we want to send Dark Magician to the grave, because if we have Circle Eternal Soul, we want to be able to summon Dark Magician back with Eternal Soul and banish a card on our opponent's field. And obviously, if we need, we might want an effect monster to do further link summons. I'm Duck. Similar argument as Link Spider. Sends Dark Magician to graveyard. So it's just another way to do that. And also, it's a dragon. It's the one dragon in your whole deck, other than the Dragonite. Dragonite's a dragon. But the only way to make the Dragonite is with I'm Duck. So you definitely need an I'm Duck. This is not debatable. Link Spider, I'm Duck, not debatable. You might disagree about Big Eye, maybe you want to run Red Eye's Flare Metal Dragon, but I'm Duck is not debatable. Relinquished Anima is just it's a link, can be linked from its Magician Souls, and a lot. If it points to a monster, it can take it. So situational. Honestly, you can cut this for something else. You can maybe if you prefer Link Karibo, maybe if you prefer another Xyz monster. If you really want to run your Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon or Darkness Metal, whatever Xyz, you can just cut this, right? Maybe you want to run Assembled Nightingale. So Assembled Nightingale, for those of you who don't know, is a Lyreless monster that's made from 2 level 1s. So if you have 2 Magician Souls on the field, you can make this. You can attack your opponent directly. So this is just a way to get to Zeus, right? So yeah, easy Zeus, 2 Magician Souls, Xyz into this, attack directly, make Zeus, right? However, without Downer Magician, it's really hard to justify the Zeus, right? Like, yeah, you'll get Zeus, but it'll be a 3-material Zeus. Usually people want to run Downer Magician along with this to get the 4-material Zeus, the fabled 4-material Zeus. So, yeah, so maybe you can cut Relinquished Anima for that, but I don't know. I think Relinquished Anima might be a little bit more useful. Like we have some ways to get to Zeus already, and getting 2 Magician Souls on the field requires like both of them to be in your hand, which is not common. Like doesn't happen often. Artemis, I can't stress to you how many Dark Magician mirror games or just like Dark Magician players I've played in general on Master Duel who don't run Artemis. So they end their turn with a rod that doesn't do anything. Like, and they have no follow-up plays. Like, Artemis gets your rod into the graveyard. Artemis is also a great target to banish off of Magical Eyes if you want to make Quintet. Artemis is a spellcaster that you contribute, for Rod's effect to get Recycle Rod back to hand. It's just a great card. Like, any deck profile who does not, that claims to be a Dark Magician deck profile and is not running Artemis is not a true Dark Magician deck. I don't see how you can possibly justify not running Artemis if you know what Magician's Rod does and like how it works, right? If you watch a Dark Magician deck profile video and it does not have Artemis, that means that they do not understand their deck. They do not understand how Magician's Rod works. Like they just don't understand, right? Predator Plant Verde Anaconda. Only reason it's here is because of Magicalized. You're making Quintet and that's about it. I don't think there's a point to use Anaconda to make the Dark Magicians. You could make that, but this is for Quintet, right? Black Luster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. This is just a boss monster. We don't have Dragoon, but this is the next best thing. Summon 3 monsters with different names if it's linked using a level 7 or higher. So if you make this, make sure you use Dark Magician. It cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects, right? So it's a 3k beater. When you destroy a monster, you either gain 1500 attack or you banish a card on the field. An untargeted banish, right? Every time you destroy a monster. Or you can just go to 4500 attack or 6000 attack. Never use this ability. This card can make a second attack during the battle phase of your next turn. If it was the same turn maybe, next turn, no. It makes no sense to ever choose this effect. It's either banish or grow. Gain 1500. There's no in between. Ignore the second effect. This is a bait. Selene. Selene can revive every spellcaster in your deck. Can revive the Dark Magicians. If your Quintet got killed, can revive Quintet. Can revive Ebon Illusion. Even if Ebon Illusion doesn't have materials, it can still use its effect to banish, right? Can revive Dark Magician. So if you don't have Eternal Soul, but you do have Dark Magical Circle, and you want to banish something, use this to revive Dark Magician. It's a quick effect revive, which means you can use it on either player's turn, right? And obviously, Selene is a stepping stone towards Accesscode. So if you were able to make Selene, you can whatever monster you revive can be used to as your final material for Accesscode. You make Accesscode from Selene plus 1 monster, and this grows to 5300 attack, and this is just like an OTK, like let's finish the game kind of thing. Like you blow up your opponent's field, attack for game, right? All right, so that's it. Yeah, this deck is not great. Like not having Dragoon severely hinders, but you can get to Plat. It is able to get to Plat. So if that's what you care about, and it's a Dark Magician deck. You'll have fun with it, right? I have fun with it. Like it's a fun deck to have. Like I play this deck entirely through solo mode. Like solo mode is kind of a joke, but you play some duels with like a pre-made deck, but then you also get rewarded for playing with your own deck. So I played through, and actually like in the solo mode I cut out stuff like Maxx, right? And skill drain, because there aren't that many things to where these 5 cards would even like apply in solo mode, because like the opponent's decks are like super like casual, right? But yeah, you'll absolutely have fun with this deck. I guarantee it. Can be frustrating at times because there's more meta powerhouses out there, Tri-Brigade, Drytron, right? But I feel like I have pretty good outs to most of them. Like, how do you out Eldritch? Either the 2 called bys or banish with Circle, right? How do you out Drytron? Hope you get going second. Hope you get the Solemn Strike. You can stop most decks with just skill drain, but sometimes if you're going second or like, you really want to draw some, like you have the tools. I think Lalza's video, he runs Ice Dragon's Prison, or like some other player runs Ice Dragon's Prison. Ice Dragon's Prison's fine. I think it's unnecessary because, I mean, what exactly are you outing with Ice Dragon's Prison? They don't have Dragoon. Like, what monster that can't be destroyed? Actually, you can out Chaos Maxx. So yeah, Ice Dragon's Prison. The only out I can think of for Ice Dragon's Prison is Blue Eyes Chaos Maxx Dragon, because Blue Eyes Chaos Maxx Dragon is a monster that cannot be targeted or destroyed by card effects. So Ice Dragons is a great answer to this, but you want to know another way to stop this monster? Skill Drain. You Skill Drain it, it can now be destroyed and targeted by card effects, right? Accesscode can out it. Quintet can obviously attack over it. Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. If you destroy another monster, you can do an untargeted banish, right? So you have outs for this, even without Ice Dragon's Prison. Most other matchups, like Invoked, Ice Dragon's not that great. I mean, like, you banish their Alistair, they'll just get it back with Invocation. You banish Winda. Like, they have ways of getting banished monsters, but I don't know. I feel like Ice Dragons is not great in a lot of these matchups, and like I'd rather have Torrential, and I'd rather have like this trap lineup. I'd rather have Skill Drain. Like, Skill Drain is just game winning. You flip Skill Drain, you win the game. Like, Ice Dragons is not going to single-handedly win you the game as hard as like a Skill Drain would. And Judgments to protect your back row, Solemns to like strikes to stop Drytron going second. You know, like if you can blow up a board with Torrential, if they try to negate, you Solemn Strike and their board is gone. So yeah. Feel free to suggest changes, but I think this is probably like the best that we can do at the moment. We don't have Illusion of Chaos, like none of the Battle of Chaos stuff. We don't have Dragoon. It's very hard to make a good Dark Magician deck. Like we can't even run DP package because there's no DP, right? There is Rainbow Neos, but that's kind of a joke. Like, I don't think it's worth. Rainbow Neos is not strong enough of a boss monster, like in terms of its effects, to justify running the Rainbow's Neos package. So yeah. But yeah, feel free to suggest anything. Like, let me know your experiences in the comments. Yeah, I've already went over some of the cards I might be open to cut, like maybe cut Bond, right? Or Dark Burning. Maybe cut Mahad. Yeah, maybe get another Apprentice. Maybe get another Maxx. Like, yeah, there are things you can cut. If you want to be bold, you can cut Skill Drain down to 2 copies. You might think, oh, you know, with 2 copies, you're less likely to see more than one in hand. Yeah, but with Skill Drain, we want to maximize seeing it in the hand, period. Even if we have 2 copies, because guess what? Magician Souls can just send it to the graveyard and draw a card, right? So having more than one of these in your hand is not a big deal, right? Having more than one Maxx in hand is a little bricky. Like, you can't get much out of it. Plus, if they out one Skill Drain, you have a backup, right? So, like, if they ash your Maxx, like, they're gonna play out their turn, like, or they draw it like Maxx more than one. I don't see any situation where it's actually gonna be useful, because it's a once per turn, yeah, named effect. So yeah, I don't see yeah. So so that's why my argument is like 3 Skill Drain, 2 Maxx, not the other way around, because you'd rather see Skill Drain more often, and you'd rather see you would be more okay with seeing more than one copy of Skill Drain in your hand. So, alright, I think that's everything. Yeah, maybe I'll later post some replays, gameplays, or whatever of me playing against people in Plat. You know, hopefully, you know, we'll get an update on this format. We'll get Dragoon back. We'll get Illusion Chaos, Battle Chaos stuff, and yeah, this deck will be a lot better once that happens. So, anyway, yep. Thanks for watching, and yeah, hopefully my voice is not too low relative to the game music. Alright, take care. Peace.